We often spend our precious days building a prison out of other people's success. We look at the lives of others and feel that we are falling behind. We think everyone is faster, smarter, and luckier than we are. The bitter truth is that we kill our own joy by measuring our path using someone else's map. We walk around with a heavy heart not because we lack talent, but because we are too busy watching others run their own race. Let me tell you a story about a young woman named Jiya. Jiya lived in a quiet valley at the foot of a massive snow-capped mountain. She was a weaver who created beautiful cloths with colors like the sunset. However, Jiya was not happy. Every time she traveled to the nearby city to sell her work, she saw other weavers with larger stalls and more expensive threads. She saw merchants with golden rings and heard travelers talking about the grand cities across the sea. When she returned to her quiet home, her own life felt small and grey. Her inner critic was a loud, mean voice that told her she would never be enough. This feeling of being less than others was not just a thought. It was like a scientific experiment she was performing on her own soul. The stress of comparison made her hands heavy and her mind foggy. She felt as though she was carrying an invisible weight every single day. One morning, she decided she could no longer live this way. She climbed the narrow path to a small hut near the clouds. There lived an old woman who was known for her deep peace and strange wisdom. Jiya found the woman sitting on a rock, watching an eagle circle high above. Jiya poured out her heart, crying about how she felt inferior and slow compared to the world. The old woman listened in silence. Then she pointed to a large, heavy stone carved in the shape of an eagle. She told Jiya that if she wanted to find peace, she must carry this stone eagle to the very top of the mountain peak. She must not put it down until the air became cold and the horizon became vast. Jiya took the stone. It was much heavier than it looked. As she climbed, her muscles burned and her breath became short. She saw smaller birds flying easily past her, and for a moment, she felt angry that she had to carry such a weight while they were free. But she kept going. The higher she went, the more the world below seemed to shrink. The grand city that made her feel small now looked like a tiny speck of dust. The rich merchants were invisible from this height. When she finally reached the peak, the old woman was already there, waiting by a small fire. Jiya dropped the stone eagle and fell to her knees, gasping for air. The old woman looked at her and spoke with a voice as calm as the mountain wind. She told Jiya that the eagle never asks the sparrow if its flight is correct. The eagle does not look at the ground to see if the ants are watching. It simply spreads its wings because the sky belongs to those who dare to fly. She explained that comparison is a thief that steals the energy we need for our own journey. When you look at others, you are carrying a stone that does not belong to you. Your only task is to master your own wings. Jiya felt a sudden spark of understanding, a true eureka moment. She realized that her heavy stone was not the carved eagle, but her own habit of looking at others. In our modern world of 2026, we do the same thing every time we pick up our phones. We look at the digital highlight reels of strangers and feel that our real lives are not good enough. But Jiya learned a practical lesson that we can use today. She decided to unfollow the voices that made her feel small. She realized that the only person she needed to be better than was the person she was yesterday. As Jiya walked back down the mountain, her hands felt light and her heart felt steady. She went back to her weaving, not to beat the other merchants, but to create the most beautiful cloth she possibly could. We must remember that social media is a stage, not a reality. It is a collection of perfect moments, not the full story of a human life. If you want to fly high, you must drop the stones of comparison. You must focus on your own breath, your own steps, and your own craft. Your life is a unique story that only you can write. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the music inside you. Trust your pace, honor your struggle,
And remember that the mountain does not care how fast you climb, only that you keep moving upward. Believe in your own wings, and the sky will open up for you.